Since the Industrial Revolution, Americans have feared losing their jobs to machines, but these fears may not be justified. I'm Alejandra Cortez.
And I'm Tiara Sheree. Heath Mello joins us in studio to discuss his campaign for Omaha mayor, how he plans to win his home district and the mayor seat in the process.
All this and more on the latest edition of the Omaha News. Stay with us.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, otherwise known as DACA, is a program that allows qualifying immigrants who arrived in the United States as children to work and delay deportation for a period of time. The future of DACA became uncertain after the election of President Donald Trump and growing Republican pressure to cut the program entirely. Across the nation, hundreds of thousands of DACA recipients like Lizeth Mejia anticipate the fate of their status under Trump's presidency.
It's scary. When I talk to people, I always tell them, I don't know what my future looks like.
Mejia arrived in the United States at age 6. She fears her life will change if DACA is removed.
I think about it every day. I don't feel like there's ever a minute that goes by that I don't think about what would happen if DACA was to be taken away.
Mejia says DACA has helped her live a normal life like others her age without constant fear of deportation.
I guess it's true when they say that it gives you like a taste of what life would be like and, you know, that American dream. But now it's like at stake and you don't know what might happen and you don't know if that's the end of it.
Despite the uncertainty of DACA's future, recipients are encouraged to remain positive.
Reminding them of that, you know, that what you do and who you are is important. So that outside noise, it may be scary, but try to stay focused because you have a bigger goal in mind.
Sometimes you just want to give up because you don't know where things are going to go. You don't know what your future looks like. But what keeps me going is that I've made it this far, so why give up now?
Although an executive order to end DACA has been drafted, President Trump has not yet signed it. Recent memos from the Department of Homeland Security left DACA untouched, but White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer made it clear yesterday that the program is not yet out of the woods.
Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was released by Mark Twain all the way back in 1883. And while the content of the 132-year-old novel may be old news, a fresh stage adaptation hits the Omaha community this Friday. The Rose Theater, which is dedicated to the enrichment of Omaha youth and family life, puts on this hilarious adaptation of the acclaimed novel. Performances of the production will be held Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 2 p.m., and Sundays at 2 p.m. When you see the work of a local artist, you may see something beautiful, creative, or interesting to look at. By contrast, a new piece to a rising artist looks like an opportunity to build connections and further develop their skills.
He's really grown quite a lot in his style, his technique, and his ability and his desire to really be out there and to really put himself out there.
This progress in Anthony Dion Brown's artwork is a large part of why he was nominated for the Omaha Entertainment and Arts Award for Best Emerging Artist.
It's exciting. I mean, I really think that the recognition or a spotlight on local artists is important.
But even after winning several awards, earning the opportunity to paint mural after mural, and even to make commissioned pieces, Anthony says sharing his skills with other local artists is the most rewarding part.
I've learned everything that I know off of YouTube, and I always wished that I had somebody to just spell it out for me.
Now he's able to share his knowledge with people like Gerardo Diaz.
I met him once actually at a show, but I didn't know it was him. And then, but his piece was there at the show. And I saw, and it kind of triggered something where I want to know more.
His curiosity sparked the beginning of a mentorship and ongoing friendship.
When I saw his stuff, it was just crazy. Like, I couldn't believe that somebody here in Nebraska was doing something like that.
With Anthony's help, his work is now at the level he once could only admire.
Telling him everything that I've learned and seeing him increase, like, that's my favorite thing.
Anthony's art will be on display at Gallery 72 in Omaha until Saturday.
Nebraska State Ombudsman Marshall Lux will be at his current appointment for at least another 6 years. Lux was reappointed this week with a 39-0 vote by legislature. The state ombudsman typically operates behind the scenes. Lux handled complaints Nebraska citizens have about state administrative agencies. Lux has occupied his current post since 1981, and among other key successes, he is credited with sparking the 2014 probe into an overcrowded and deficient Nebraska prison system.
Coming up next, an in-studio interview with Omaha mayoral candidate Heath Mello.
And we show you how automatization may affect the future of the jobs in the United States. Stay tuned.
I have no idea where I'm at right now. I just really need some help.
Do you need some help?
Yeah.
Okay, library is here.
I heard the word help. Yeah.
Student ambassadors are here to give a helping hand to anyone on campus. We're also your one-stop stop for tours of UNO's campuses and providing new student orientation so you can register for classes. Find us in the Welcome Center located next to the Weber Fine Arts Building.
The UNO TV team teaches students the skills they need to take professional jobs in the Omaha community. Through paid positions, students build their skills in lighting, audio, camera work, and other essential control room operations. Programs air locally on TKN and statewide on NHE World. UNO Television, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
The Library Cafe at UNO's Chris Library is the ideal spot to stop in and grab a bite to eat. Order a hot cup of coffee or other drinks. Chat with friends or study.
This is the Omaha News.
Candidates campaigning for the office of Omaha Mayor have just 1 week left to file their candidacy with the Douglas County Election Commission. The incumbent Mayor Gene Stothert filed last month along with newcomer Christopher Geary. District 5 Representative Heath Mello filed on the 10th of February. Taylor Royal, who made a big splash in December by announcing a platform which included bringing a professional football team to Omaha, has yet to file his candidacy. Tune into the Omaha News March 8th for our discussion with Royal, and on March 29th, we'll bring you a live in-studio interview with Mayor Gene Stothert.
State Senator Heath Mello was elected to serve in the 5th Legislative District in Nebraska in 2008. He was re-elected in November 2012, and now he is vying to become the 52nd mayor of Omaha. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Mello.
Absolutely, Alejandra.
So our first question is, if elected mayor of Omaha, what will be the issues that you will focus on and why?
Well, if I'm elected to be Omaha's next mayor, there's a number of issues that taxpayers across the city consistently bring up to me. And the three that I consistently bring up back on the campaign trail is ways that we can engage the citizenry more in regards to reinventing City Hall to provide better services and more civic engagement in that process. Ways that we can improve our infrastructure and address our street maintenance, as well as build a 21st century transportation system. And the last issue really is, what are we going to be able to do to make every neighborhood, regardless of zip code in this city, both safer and stronger?
Perfect. And in your plans to fix the city's infrastructure, you mentioned setting up an infrastructure bank. How will this work, and what kind of impact will this have on the taxpayers?
Well, that's a great question, and I think what we were able to do last year in the Nebraska legislature is create a state infrastructure bank that was funded with about $450 million. And the idea that I proposed in the campaign is to take that model but create more of a public-private partnership mechanism that takes both federal dollars, state dollars, and local resources available and combine them with private sector and philanthropic dollars for us to be able to not just fix our streets and repair our bridges, but truly be able to embrace some very large public transportation initiatives that have been put out both by the private sector and by my campaign.
And after the recent election cycle, the country has been divided over some key issues. As the mayor of Omaha, what will you do to promote unity within the city?
Well, that is just an absolutely terrific question, because I announced my candidacy back last August. And when I announced that candidacy, I said I was campaigning to help create a more welcoming, more connected Omaha. In light of what we've seen at the national level, I think now more than ever, we need a mayor who understands not just the diversity of Omaha, but truly embraces that diversity and sees it as a strength. And everything from representing the immigrant community in South Omaha to our suburban schools in Elkhorn and Millard, I think I bring a wealth of experience both from the legislature and being a civic and community leader to unify people across the city behind building a better Omaha for the future.
Okay. And you have a strong base in District 5. For example, you were elected in 2008 and re-elected in 2012. Why do you think you have such an appeal to this part of Omaha?
Well, you know what, I've been fortunate enough to be involved with a number of great South Omaha community organizations like the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance and the South Omaha Business Association, and still be able to build very strong relationships with the growing immigrant and refugee communities, from the Latino Center of the Midlands to the Heartland Worker Center. And the one thing I've always tried to pride myself on is make sure I have an open door policy with everyone in the South Omaha community. And I'm very proud to be South Omaha's former state senator, and to some extent be South Omaha's first mayor in more than close to 40 years.
And you mentioned the importance of making Omaha a magnet for talented, skilled workers. Can you maybe talk about this a little and how you intend to achieve this goal?
Well, I think the one thing I've heard from across the city is we have to be able to find new innovative ways to keep our college graduates from leaving Omaha to go to Chicago, to Kansas City, or Denver. And part of our strategy is, to some extent, is to focus on making sure our startup community and our technology community truly has the support of the mayor and has the support of City Hall behind them in creating and supporting the jobs of the future. The other opportunity really is to make sure that Omaha continues to be a focus of more progressive social engagement, something that we've seen just recently in light of some of the executive orders coming from President Trump, in which myself and many other people across the city have spoken out against, because we know that's not the Omaha that we want to see in the future, an Omaha that's divisive, an Omaha that doesn't welcome and embrace immigrants and refugees. That's what young talent is looking for, is cosmopolitan cities that truly embrace that diversity and truly try to build on it, not try to shun it away.
And you've also spoken out about crime, and in your plans to reduce crime, you mentioned strategic partnerships with school. What does this partnership look like?
Well, the one thing that we worked on in the legislature, and something I think we have an opportunity to work on in the mayor's office, is focusing on truancy and doing everything we can to expand our after-school programs. I believe there's still an awful lot of work that City Hall can do in regards to supporting parents and children, in the sense of making sure we're getting them to school, we're keeping them in school, and then that after-school time is so critical. The hours between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock we know are the most dangerous times in the city for our youth, and utilizing our parks department, utilizing our city libraries, and expanding those scopes and those department scope and their partnerships with programs, the existing after-school programs, really is, I think, an opportunity for the city to help play a leadership role in providing those strategic partnerships.
Okay, Mr. Mello, well, those were all the questions I had for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best in your campaign.
Thank you so much.
After the break, new changes to the fitness scene in the Omaha area. And millennials are so obsessed with the past, but why? We show you this and more up next on the Omaha News.
Watch ICU Learning English on the Knowledge Network.
Create, innovate, discover. Koneko UNO Library, where scholar meets creative. Located in downtown Omaha, Koneko Library is designed to bridge education and creation. For students and community members alike, both loud in expression and quiet in nature, encouraging forward thinkers to collaborate in a beautiful space of creative scholarly consciousness. Koneko UNO Library, open space for your mind where momentum is accomplished.
Just feel a sense of camaraderie with fellow veterans, whether they're young, old, from different branches. Students are able to exchange their military history and also feel a sense of community here on campus, as well as we do have a quiet study area and a computer lounge with free printing, and as well as free coffee, thing for people. But for vets, it's pretty important just to come in here and just stop by, say hello.
The Creative Production Lab is a space for students to express themselves through artistic creation. Whether they want to do something visual, such as using the 3D printer or laser cutter, or if they want to create an audio project in the Whisper Room, the options are endless within the Creative Production Lab.
This is the Omaha News.
Companies are implementing automation in their workforce as soon as technology and their budget allows, causing potential for job loss and fear in the employment sector. Just recently, Amazon introduced a convenience store set to open early this year with enough technology to avoid lines, checkouts, and registers. Reporter Jose Rodriguez joined us in the newsroom and says maybe we should reevaluate these concerns. Jose?
I would say that where technology does shave off some jobs in the short term, in the long term, they're going to end up creating new, different opportunities for the workforce.
Different opportunities can come from the new technology itself.
For every automated system that's out there, I'm going to need people to maintain that system. I'm going to need people to program that system.
Even though automated systems might perform certain tasks without a problem, there are particular human aspects machines can't quite replicate yet.
Computer where I can place my food orders, or a waitress. I think a waitress is always better. I would prefer to have that personal connection, that personal interaction with my waitress.
Current automated systems depend on artificial narrow intelligence, and here is where humans can compete. Creativity, decision making, and problem solving.
What humans need to do is go out and find the skills, identify the skills that are desirable for the marketplace at a given time.
Now the question is, when are robots taking over our entire workforce?
I'd say you and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, they're going to be just fine. They'll have jobs to do. They just might not be what your great-grandparents did for a living.
Thanks, Jose. While your job may be safe from robot automation, perhaps you might be willing to give up the mundane task of driving. Tesla, an American automaker, has boasted self-driving capabilities on its vehicles for some time, and Nebraska has now become part of a route that allows Tesla owners to drive their electric-powered vehicles across the country. The latest addition of charging stations in Grand Island completes the Nebraska leg of the route. This means Tesla owners can now make it all the way through Nebraska with access to power.
It's common for gym members to bounce from gym to gym, but some fitness club locations in Omaha have been bouncing from company to company. Reporter Colt Paulson took a look at how these clubs are transitioning and how it has affected their members.
Genesis Health Clubs recently purchased all Gold's Gym locations in Omaha and Lincoln, which is the second recent transition because Gold's Gym bought out Aspen Fitness Clubs only 2 years ago.
We're fully transitioned. It was a fairly quick transition.
June 15th is when all locations made the switch from Gold's Gym to Genesis Health Clubs. And Assistant Club Manager Rick Hennings says the buyout has benefited members and the gym in general.
Genesis has MOSA, which is an upgrade to the classes that were offered by Gold's Gym.
Genesis Health Clubs purchased all of the Gold's Gym locations in Lincoln and Omaha, but they also purchased the 24-hour fitness locations.
Well, there's now 8 locations that all members will be able to utilize. 4 of them still stay open 24 hours a day.
Genesis Health Clubs purchased locations in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Missouri, now totaling 44 locations in the Midwest. Gold's Gym members get to enjoy the benefits of 24-hour fitness locations, such as swimming pools, indoor tracks, volleyball courts, and tennis courts. But former 24-hour member Eric Smith says he doesn't enjoy the switch in accessing the gym. He preferred the finger scan over what now requires a scan card.
So you walk right in, touch it, you're done. You don't have to wait, you don't have to hand your keys to anybody, nothing.
With the transition, Smith notices a lack in trainers. He says it was a lot easier to get a personal trainer at 24-hour than Genesis.
I mean, it's kind of nice for anybody who doesn't use them because they're not around anymore, so.
Smith is pleased that even though Genesis bought out 24-hour fitness locations, they are still open 24/7.
It makes that a convenience to people. Not everybody has the same schedule.
For the Omaha News, I'm Colt Paulson.
With multiple locations and flexible hours, Genesis Health Clubs will be a major competitor with what some call a monopoly in the Omaha area.
Stay tuned after the break when we show you how millennials are staying in touch with their childhood.
Also, how can you travel from Omaha to Iowa City for as little as $1? Stay with us.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city. Or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
Every generation of people has a strong sense of nostalgia for their childhood. Items from that time period bring back strong memories from the past. For most millennials, this era is the 1990s. Reporter Zachary Padilla takes us inside this phenomenon by showing us how millennials are remembering their childhoods.
Brendan Coughlin grew up collecting Pokemon cards with his friends and brothers. Now, over 15 years later, Coughlin as well as other millennials are trying to find old relics from the 90s.
I grew up getting them at Target or whenever my mom went grocery shopping. My brother and I would watch the show after school every day.
Millennials are people that were born between the 1980s and the early 2000s. Although most of them are in college or in the workplace, they still hold on to memories from the past.
It just makes me think of being at Target with my mom and begging her to get me a pack of cards.
Coughlin recently purchased several old Pokemon packs on eBay, paying upwards of $20 for one single first edition pack.
So I went crazy and bought every pack I possibly could, and I got the whole set. Does my girlfriend know how much I spent? No.
But why are millennials obsessed with their childhoods? Todd Richardson of UNO is currently teaching a class all about this subject.
You're caught between childhood and adulthood, and so your life is just disrupted in some sense, and so you look for you get nostalgic for when things made more sense.
However, obsession with nostalgia can be dangerous.
I think there is a short-sightedness when people get nostalgic, that they think that because their world was better, it was better for everybody, and that's where it becomes dangerous, when we stop taking into consideration other people's worldviews, experiences, perspectives.
For the Omaha News, I'm Zachary Padilla.
Pokemon Go is the latest addition to the Pokemon franchise. It's a version of the game that can be played on a smartphone. So while the cards are a thing of the past, Pokemon lovers have yet another piece of nostalgia to enjoy.
Megabus has been the source of cheap, long-distance travel for college students for several years. But more recently, the bus line cut services from Chicago to Omaha and cities across Iowa. The company announced yesterday that it would bring back the Chicago route service to several major cities in Iowa, and for the first time add service from Lincoln to Moline, Illinois. The new route additions will begin next Wednesday, March 1st, with a trip between Lincoln and Chicago, including stops in Omaha, Des Moines, Iowa City, and Moline, Illinois. That does it for this edition of the Omaha News. Join us next week for more exclusive stories in your community.
And you can find additional stories on our website, theomahanews.wordpress.com. Also follow the Omaha News on Facebook and Twitter at UNO The Omaha News. For all of us here at the Omaha News, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.